Before time immortal, the dark and stormy nights arose from creation's primordial nectar. Brought to this world as both muse and master to deliver mortals from misery and the mundane. Welcome, lords and ladies. It's the dark and stormy nights.
You can talk about it. I don't care. This is the Dark and Stormy Nights, by the way.
Lord.
And I'm Loki.
Odin.
I'm Tyr.
That was abrupt, but go ahead, Odin. Finish your conversation, unless you don't want the audience to hear it.
I'm honestly lost the thread.
Is it too late? Did I put you on the spot too hard? No, I mean, I just want to get started. It's getting late.
All right, let's jump in.
It is 8 o'clock here in Hades.
Oh, God,
Getting
yeah.
a little warm.
Yeah. What was the heat index today? 115?
Oh, yeah, it was pretty hot. It was ridiculous. And it wasn't like Paris Hilton hot, like that's hot. It was just,
Oh, Lord.
it was like sweaty,
It was
everything.
like Persephone's packing her bags. Like, it's that hot.
Yeah, you're like, you're sticking to everything.
Well, if it's an indication, Tyr's the only one who has sleeves.
So, yeah, seriously. I am doing the show in the buff right now.
Oh, Lord.
Imagine it.
It would not be the first time.
Do it. Okay. So, okay, I guess I killed the mood by starting the show in the middle of a conversation. But that's okay. You guys understand. You love me anyways. And, so today is Tears episode.
Well,
been,
not
forgive
my
us.
episode, my chapter.
We're a little out of practice because technically you don't know this because we just kept the flow going. But me and Tyr took a little vacation.
We did indeed.
And now we're back 2 weeks later.
We escaped the clutches of the Midwest.
Crispier than ever. So some of us literally, as I got burned pretty badly.
I warned you.
But hey, I lotioned up.
Yeah, well, we also don't really have an ozone layer, so, you know.
Yeah, well, there's that.
There's that.
We haven't really talked about that in 15, 20 years.
Yeah. So, okay. And, well, I'm from the land of the frost giants, so.
True.
But anyways, so what do you got for this week, Tyr?
I have the bones of chapter 13.
Okay.
I didn't go overly robust with the chapter.
Right.
Because you kind of last week were starting this new
What did you think of that? Like
trend.
building out from that?
I mean, it took less time. So,
But
oh, you
I-
mean like doing your chapter? Like that was fine. And I figure, and every time I do a chapter, you guys are always wanting more about the scenery and like
Right.
and more description because I'm a more character-centric writer. So, I mean, I think it'll help in the editing process because you guys are getting your thoughts in there now.
Right.
So
Yeah, that's what I'm
it
thinking.
could work out.
Is
it could
you get the
make less
meat.
work later.
We're getting the meat of the story,
Right.
you know, and we can add the potatoes later.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that on my end, but we can tear it apart either way.
We will.
Right. I mean,
I'm
well,
sure.
we're all going to have our opinions. It's just a matter of yeah, we've always had our opinions. I think that this is just going to mean we're building out the chapter more as we go, as opposed to throwing our opinions at each other, but not actually editing yet. You know.
Right. Yeah.
So-
No. I think it's a good step. I think that this will make it a little easier. I hope, anyways.
Let's hope so.
So okay. Do you want to get started?
Yeah, I think we're just dividing this one into two sections, right?
Right, and then we'll give Odin a little idea what he's doing next week in the end.
Right. Okay.
So, okay, go for it.
Okay. The sun was low in the sky by the time Hammond made it to the park Karen had directed him to. The job at the mansion had taken much longer than expected, and now the setting sun was casting shadows and playing tricks on his weary eyes. Obviously, he hadn't really seen horns on the loose herd of horses he'd passed on the way over. The stress of the week was just finally getting to him. With a heavy sigh, Hammond left the carriage, pulled the small contraption from his oversized rucksack, and then hefted the bag over his broad shoulders. His eyes flitted over the trees and bushes, seeking the little troublemaker he was there to catch. Brownies were filthy, deceiving creatures, widely believed to be little more than helpful elves, but Hammond knew the truth. Dangerous little buggers if you ever crossed one. Highly sensitive, too. It didn't take much to end up on their bad side. A simple capture for curiosity's sake, and you could find yourself on the bad side of their vindictive ways. Hammond wondered if the little monster he was there for was the same one that had eluded him weeks before. Not only had it escaped his clutches, turned his workshop against him, and ruined his favorite shotgun, it had also been tormenting him for weeks. A pile of sugar drawing swarms of ants to the front door of his workshop, or his tools falling apart in his hands when he picked them up, a stink bomb rigged to the door latch so that it would go off the moment he was closed inside. Hammond had no proof, but he knew it was that blasted creature, and today he would get his revenge. Dropping his rucksack behind a tree, Hammond went to work setting up his contraption in the clearing and then covered it with leaves and branches. Once satisfied, he placed a small thimble within the little magic-resistant jail and filled it with cream. Just outside the trap, he set a small dish piled high with tiny honey cakes. Trap set, Hammond quickly made his way behind the tree to watch. Long moments passed before his payoff finally wandered near. Not one, but two little men with bulbous noses and slightly pointed ears stepped into the clearing, chattering in their strange fey language. They waved their arms animatedly and gestured as if telling tales of some monstrous creature, though the smiles on their faces indicated no fear. Instead, their bright eyes shone with excitement. One of the little men continued his story, but his friend was no longer listening. His nose rose into the air and his eyes glazed over as he wandered closer to Hammond's trap. The storyteller frowned at his loss of audience, chasing after his friend until he too scented the sweet treat. Almost entranced by the sugary temptation, the two wandered closer and filled their round bellies until they could barely sit, and still they ate. They ate until the cakes were gone, and their eyelids grew heavy, and they smacked their sticky lips in need of something to wash down their overly rich snack. Okay. When their eyes landed on the thimble of cream, they chittered in delight and then eyed the cream hungrily and stood to make their way inside. Hammond tightened his grip on the latch trigger, waiting for the right moment. They inched closer still, and Hammond was moments from victory. His finger twitched in anticipation. One more step. It's truly a miracle your kind isn't extinct by now, a smooth English voice intoned dryly, startling the tiny men back several steps. Hammond bit back a curse and glared at the intruder, who was reclined easily against the trunk of a tree just inside the clearing. His eyes widened in recognition, though the face didn't quite match the confident, laid-back tone. What the hell was Wilhelm doing? Hammond stormed into the clearing, giving up the ruse. Clearly Wilhelm had his own plans. What the bloody hell are you doing? Hammond demanded. Wilhelm's brow furrowed for a moment before he seemed to recognize his folly. Working, he replied, with simply with a shrug of his shoulders. Hammond frowned. Aren't you supposed to be chasing gnomes? Finished early, Wilhelm replied. False alarm. Hammond was about to tell him off for ruining his plan when the brownies started their chittering again. This time, they drew Wilhelm's attention. He raised an eyebrow and responded in their native language. Hammond's jaw dropped. You speak brownie? Well enough, Wilhelm replied. The brownies started talking again, and Wilhelm listened intently. They still sat just outside of Hammond's contraption, patting their full bellies and looking to Wilhelm for answers. Seeing opportunity, Hammond devised a new plan. Tell them to go get that cream. It's perfectly safe in there. Wilhelm rolled his eyes, but translated Hammond's message, gesturing towards the trap as he explained. However, instead of going after their treat, the little men grew angry and animated. Both turned their angry glares towards Hammond and crossed their tiny arms over their little chests. Hammond frowned at their reaction. You sure you translated that right? Wilhelm shrugged. They seem to think you're lying. Don't know where they would have gotten that idea. The little men continued their angry ranting with Wilhelm, the conversation going back and forth, before they swiftly turned and ripped the branches from the hidden trap. They turned back to glare down Hammond. At the end of his patience, Hammond huffed towards the trap, determined to shove the little men in by force. He gestured towards Wilhelm. You get on the other side, and catch them if they try to escape. Wilhelm lazily walked to the other side of the clearing and found himself a new tree to lean against, rolling his eyes. Hammond moved closer, but well before he reached his prize, the little men gave chase, leading Hammond to the center of the clearing, where he finally noticed he was no longer alone. That's the first section.
All right, cool. I dig it. I like the differentiation, of course, is that evil Wilhelm is confident.
Mm-hmm.
So
and chill.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Which is, I think, a dead giveaway. But I guess when you really think about it, if you had a friend who was like Wilhelm is, and then suddenly he's like all confident and everything, I think I'd assume drunk first.
Maybe
Yeah.
so, but also Hammond is probably the least observant of the team.
That's true. That's
You
true.
know, like he's so
In his own
self-absorbed.
world and, yeah.
right. Right. So like yeah, he's like what the fuck's wrong with this dude? But like because it's messing with his plans, he's more irritated than he
Right.
is like who are you, you know?
I do wish we could see the subtitles of the
Of what he's
brownies
saying,
and what
I
he's
know.
saying and everything like that. It's like that's the beauty of TV. But sometimes I guess maybe it's not the best thing, you know, because it's like it makes it maybe too obvious.
Right, there's no teaser.
You know.
Well, that's why they always say in subtitles, you know, incomprehensible or something. You know, they always if it
or they
ruins
just
the
don't
story,
subtitle it.
right.
Yeah, they just don't subtitle. So and I've seen those movies or whatever where it's subtitled all the way through, and why is this part not subtitled?
Right.
You know, it's just like, which unfortunately gives it away in a whole different way.
Although, you know, incomprehensible also brings to mind, I would love to hear him say, "We bastards." I just once. it just feels like something he should be saying.
Yes, but we've received a complaint on our accents, which are probably awful. So
I wasn't saying it had to be an
we're
accent.
going to be cutting back on the foreign accents, at least until maybe when this is all done, we'll hire somebody who can actually
An
do
actor.
those accents, or we'll find a friend who is maybe actually Cockney or Scottish to do these things.
So do we want to add anything into this section so far?
I think it's pretty good. I mean, I think that in post we'll maybe add in like a little bit of description of the trap, because I'm not sure I'm like envisioning it.
Oh, I figured he'd use the same trap that you had.
Well, he broke that one, but
Did he?
yeah, he
He
cracked it.
reassembled it then.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right, maybe we'll just add in some kind of, you know, that trap from the shop. I don't know, like, yeah, because
I could just change it to pulled the newly fixed contraption from his oversized rucksack.
yeah, okay, whatever. I mean,
That sounds simplest.
Newly repaired.
because I don't remember. Did I describe the contraption well?
You did.
Okay.
It was like a glass tube with clockwork or something.
Yeah, and you wind it up and stuff like that.
I vaguely recall him being electrocuted.
No,
Well,
he was
yeah,
trying
he
to
hooked it up to
electrocute.
wires.
Yeah, he's trying to electrocute the
and then
brownie.
cranked the electricity.
He put some alligator clips on it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, I think it's good. I think it's a good start. So,
So any building out here? I did describe the time of day and the trees and bushes in the park.
right.
You know, that's usually
I don't
like
really
your
think
first
there's a lot
complaint
to
about me
go
is
with. I mean,
scenery.
the only other thing I could say is like, if Wilhelm is dressed any different, that
I
might
was
give him
wondering
away.
that. Is it the same, or did you see it differently?
Right? Is he more dapper? Like,
We could make him more casual. Chill. Cool.
yeah, maybe
he
because
should be cool.
Wilhelm is very formal, right? And
He
yeah,
is.
this
He's
guy
like
could
tweed
be-
jackets with elbow patches.
Yeah, maybe this guy's a
Well-
little more leather jacket or something like that. I don't know.
It could be the same, but without the tie and the shirt
Like a-
unbuttoned or something.
Like
you
a
know.
greaser wolf. I don't know.
I don't know. What was cool back then? Because that's what he should be. He should
Well,
like that's the
dapper
opposite.
was cool. I mean, unless you're
Yeah.
the more
Well, that's the thing. There was like,
downtrodden, and then you're like the Cockney brutes look.
yeah, there's like well-dressed gentlemen's clubs and stuff like where like guys literally dressed well and got together. Like that was a thing.
That sounds awful.
They didn't have TV. Like, what do you want?
I mean, there was also prostitution there too. So
Sure, that's true. Yeah.
And
So
tea.
you dressed well and got your dick sucked.
Okay then.
well, I mean, the term gentleman's club comes from somewhere.
Yeah. Fair enough. But I don't know. Those are necessarily Wilhelm's cup of tea, if you will.
No, he goes to a whole different sort of gentleman's club,
Yes.
a fancy lads club.
Well, that's a question. I mean, I don't know that it actually
They
like
did exist.
is going to make a difference. But is evil Wilhelm also gay?
I mean,
We could do
Generally
something where
speaking,
Hammond
that's
like
something-
asks him, "Did you lose your jacket?" You know, like
Yeah.
like he's questioning why he doesn't have his usual
I mean,
stuffy look.
that's a sticky wicket, but generally that's an issue from birth. Not often just cultural conditioning. So I
But-
would assume it is.
But evil Wilhelm wasn't born; he was summoned.
Right. I don't
Maybe
know.
evil Wilhelm is less discriminate about who he hooks up with.
Maybe. I don't know that it's ever going to come up. I don't
However,
know
its
that we have a
primary
good.
motivation is replacement, and whatever orders he's given. So
Yeah, I don't know. We have a good place for it to matter. So
Who needs
probably
sex when
better
you
at
could summon
seducing.
evil?
true.
Yeah.
Who needs sex when you're taking over the world?
Right.
So
I mean, isn't that why most people try to take over the world?
For
for
sex?
sex?
You know, power,
I have
money,
news for
glory,
you, honey.
sex.
You can have sex without taking over the world.
And you
Yes,
can
but
take
is
over
it
the
as
world
good?
without having sex.
Sure.
Why?
I'm just saying, it's a thing.
I don't know. I can't picture Caesar celibate.
He could have been impotent for all we know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess that would explain some
I
of
mean,
the...
I don't know. I assume like a
empirical
lot of the
age.
dictator types, right? Like Kim Jong-un and Putin and Trump. They're probably limp dicks by now. Like, every last one of them probably can't get their pecker up. That's why they're so angry.
Oh, there's
I
medication
mean-
for that now.
There is.
Yeah, doesn't always work. So, I mean, look at the kind of shape Trump's in. He
I
probably
hope it
can't.
doesn't. Jesus.
He probably can't even see that thing.
We're way off topic here.
So, I don't know why we got here.
I don't either.
Turn back.
Yes, please. All right. So aside from the way Wilhelm is dressed,
Yeah, I don't know what needs to be given away here. I mean, I know that this is a little more simple setup than normal, you know, 'cause
do we want to make his trap a little bit more steampunky?
I mean, if you want to,
A
but like
little
you
bit
said, you're
more
referring back to
mechanical. I know,
the
but
one
like,
I invented.
but we
You don't
also have
to,
a
though.
long distance like trigger now.
Oh, that's true. So you're saying he's got a remote.
Not necessarily a remote. I didn't.
There's nothing wrong with it. Tesla invented one.
I think they had some limited form of like remote control, like
yeah,
radio.
Tesla invented
Well,
the
it could have
remote.
been wired. I mean,
I
it's
was
all
just
hidden with branches and leaves, but
Picturing a sensitive trigger mechanism like you have in a mousetrap.
like
except with a bell-
legitimately, it could have been
but
a
a bell
string
jar.
that he pulled to yank the stick out. from
That's
under
what I
the
thought you were
lid.
describing, but that honestly seemed too
Course.
primitive.
Well,
I'm actually picturing just like a
It's
little metal
Hammond.
weighted thing.
This whole thing could be like a giant Rube
I worded
Goldberg or
as
something like that, you know?
he tightened his grip on the latch trigger, waiting for the right moment.
That's true.
His finger twitched with anticipation, but I didn't really describe it.
I mean, it's up to you. Yeah, that's what I said is I was kind of like, I'm not sure what this thing looks like. But I'm not sure it matters that
Well, that's
much.
the
I
just
Well, you
kind
did
of-
say it was magic proofed, and for
Trigger.
some reason between that
Mine
and
was
his,
magic proof.
and
yeah.
his original design, I'm just picturing some sort of bell jar dropping or something.
Right. Maybe. Oh, like a mousetrap.
Yeah.
The game a little bit.
Well,
Like-
yeah, not as clunky.
Yeah.
but yes.
I mean, I made up something in my head, and apparently we all have
The
something
thing is
slightly
that it
different.
has to be magic proof to the extent where it doesn't activate until the door closes.
Right. So there
Because
might
if
be
they
some
wandered
warding
in-
sigils on it.
Yeah, if there has to be some sort of magic, because if they wander in and it's not closed,
Well,
they'll sense the magic before they're trapped.
Here's one I've often loved, and the gamers out there will know what I'm talking about. But a pyramid, like four-sided die, if it was folded open and laid on the ground, it'd be completely flat. Like it would almost form its own like little ramp and whatever. And as it stepped on the center part, that could be like a pressure plate. The whole thing could close up around it.
I get what you're saying.
You know, almost sort of like a little triangular Hellraiser box thing.
Right. It's not bad.
Graphically, it's interesting to in my head at least.
I think it might be difficult to describe on paper completely, but it's not bad. Like, because I'm seeing it in my head, like that the bottom square is raised up a little bit, but when pressure is applied,
Right.
the bottom square sinks into like
And then the side just snaps shut. Around
right,
it.
yeah, and then it folds in on itself. Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, you could have it
Do you
covered
see
in
it?
sigils and shit.
So like a
I
pyramid
guess, yeah.
set up on like a. I mean, that's one idea. It's not a bad idea. It's kind of a simple, maybe too simple for Hammond though. Hammond,
But it's mechanical. It's
Hammond
steampunky.
is very complex gears and clockwork and
Well, it's a steampunk story, so I feel like the
Right.
gears and the clockwork and the overly complicated stuff is kind of a requirement.
right. So, yeah, no, I agree. Hammond would not do it. It's too simple for him.
I don't know. At a certain point, you're just gluing gears onto things, though. You don't want to go too complicated. I mean,
Yeah, but you still want the steampunk vibe in the story.
I guess.
And that's where Hammond
Well, it's
shines.
enchanted too, so it's like, you know.
Well, yeah, but that's Wilhelm did that part. He doesn't do
How-
his own enchanting.
Oh yeah. We really haven't talked about that a whole lot. Like we know that,
I think we mentioned it a few
has some
chapters ago,
knowledge.
referring back to it.
but I don't know if we've ever had him actually do any magical work.
Wilhelm?
Yeah.
He's more like a knowledge. So he would know which sigils to...
Yeah, he's
Right, but he might have a book he could read from.
That's what I'm saying. Is I think he's just
Yeah,
busting out
he's
a
got
book
library,
and
right.
drawing right from the book. You know, so he might just
Yeah, it's
know
not
how
that
to.
he knows magic. It's that he knows how to look up what's needed.
He might know how
he's
to read
Giles.
Sumerian or
Right.
something.
He's Giles. He's not a witch, but he knows where to look for the right stuff.
Right. So Giles was from
Buffy.
Buffy.
Yeah.
It's been.
It's kind of
ages.
a bit of the character model I'm seeing in Wilhelm.
I'm seeing Niles Crane with magic and werewolfism.
A lot taller than Niles, though.
So, and of course a mustache and beard.
Yes.
So, okay. You want to come back after the break?
Really?
and-
You think a werewolf who's so anti-animal would grow out his facial hair? I feel like he would be meticulously clean-shaven.
I've often
And
saw him with
overly
facial hair. I think
groomed.
we even wrote him that way. But
Well, my sketch that
I mean,
we
it's
put
kind
up.
of the time period too. You know, the glorious mustaches and all that.
Yeah, my sketch that we
Uh,
put up has.
I think somebody who's anti their werewolf side would
Has facial
remove
hair.
all hair that they could.
I don't know.
Don't you think?
I mean,
I
they'd be
think
it's more
anti-body.
civilized
Well,
than it's.
okay,
Anti-body
y-
hair.
hear me
He'd
out on
probably
this.
shave his legs.
Hear me out on this. I think that he would allow it because he is so poor at controlling his werewolfism that it's
It'll sprout.
it's
Res-
less noticeable
maybe he.
Fair enough.
when you have an outbreak.
Because I did talk about his meticulous grooming, but maybe he shaves, and then as soon as he he gets nervous, his hair starts sprouting all over again.
But that's what I'm saying. Yeah, his nerves cause his werewolfism to have random permutations. So if he just leaves the facial hair, it's a little less noticeable when there is, an outbreak.
I'm just coming from the
Is
point
it
of
though?
view of Gentry. You know, I mean, he's civilized. You attend a mustachery.
A moustachery.
I don't know. I'm coming at it from a personality standpoint.
Well, so am I. I mean, I think that it's just a matter of coping with the symptoms of his neurosis. I think that if he didn't have his neuroticisms, if he didn't have the little outbreaks of werewolfism, then yeah, maybe you're right. But because tufts of hair burst out at any given time.
No, I get it, and I can see how he would end up with like a beard because he was anxious and his werewolf, caused his hair growth to rapidly come forth. But I think that he would also try to remove that.
Maybe.
So maybe he instead of getting a 5 o'clock shadow, he shaves in the morning, and by noon he's at some point freaked out enough to a full beard.
His barber loves him. Making a fortune.
Oh no, he would have a straight razor. You
Oh,
wouldn't- you wouldn't-
absolutely.
That'd be a waste of money.
All right, let's come back after the break with your next part.
Okay.
Hey dames and knights, Loki requires attention to survive. We feed him your likes and comments, so go show some love at the Dark and Stormy K1 on Twitter, thedarkandstormyknights.home.blog, or you can find us at Podbean, iTunes, or Google Play Music.
Love me.
Love me.
Love.
1. Damn, I said 1 while we were going.
Nice.
Hi, guys. We're back from break.
Hello.
All right, so you're going to do the second part
Sure.
of your chapter. By the way, what chapter is this again?
I think we're on 13.
13. Lucky 13.
Sounds right.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you want to just jump into it?
If you would like me to.
Okay, she's going to jump into that shit.
All right.
So just lay back and enjoy it. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Turning in a full circle, Hammond confirmed that he was in fact surrounded. Dozens of brownies closed in around him. He'd almost made a full turn when one caught his attention. The tiny growling man was given a wide berth by even his own people. He stepped forward, reaching down to swipe his fingers through the red clay dirt, and then dragged them across his cheeks. His fresh war paint set, the little man glared at Hammond and drew his thumb across his neck, needing no words to translate the threat. Hammond stepped back, shocked by the intimidating gesture. He quickly seeked out Wilhelm, who was still reclined against his tree without a care. "Tell them it was a misunderstanding. Call a truce," Hammond urged. Wilhelm gestured at Hammond as he spoke, his voice short and clipped. The brownies drew their weapons and stepped closer, chattering angrily. Hammond stepped back again, eyeing the crazy one warily. He glanced at Hammond for help. All he got was another shrug, but the malicious twinkle in the man's eyes made Hammond suspicious. The crazy brownie snapped, charging Hammond with a war cry that shouldn't have been able to originate in lungs so tiny. Hammond turned to run, but quickly ran into trouble in all directions. Taking his chances against the two he'd originally intended to trap, Hammond charged past, not making it far before he ended up with brownies attacking his ankles, climbing his pants, and one crazy screeching maniac climbing inside the back of his shirt and making his way up. Hammond tried to reach back and grab the little psycho, but it was no use. The little monster easily evaded his grabs. Kicking and tossing brownies, he ran, evading where he could, but focused on escape more than care. A string of curses escaped him when the little demon in his shirt sank his teeth into the fleshy meat of his back. Hammond ran in every direction, trying to shake the little buggers, but it was no use. Everywhere he ran, there were more. Seeing the lake in the distance, he took off, aiming to force the little creatures to let go or risk drowning. However, the moment he got close, strange blue fins popped up in the water, causing him to change directions. Whatever that was, it was much bigger than a brownie. Hammond ran for what must have been 10-15 minutes. He huffed frantically, trying to fill his aching lungs. Even a man of his stature and prowess had his limits. Several brownies littered the ground where he'd managed to get them off, but their numbers seemed to be never-ending, and that little bastard on his back was a biter. He surely had welts all over by now. The tiny bottle fastened around his neck bounced with every step, slapping against his chest. The bottle, a gift from Poppy, and if ever there was a time to use it, this was it. Finding his way back to the clearing, Hammond ripped the liquid-filled charm from his neck and slammed it against the nearest rock. Everything around him slowed to nearly a stop. Everything except for him. Specifically made just for him, Poppy had initially made it as a sort of joke to use on his friends. But it wasn't going to make it that far. He ripped the brownies from his arms and legs before using a tree trunk to knock the one from his back. Finally free, Hammond rushed over to grab his rucksack, giving one more glance at the scene before him. Wilhelm was nowhere to be found. Hammond had been fighting for his life, and that damn wolf had abandoned him. He ground his teeth together, turning to make his escape before the potion wore off, but the glint of metal caught his eye. Further inspection showed that one of the brownies was well decorated with jewelry, and a strange woven wreath adorned his head. A royal brownie, he questioned? The look promising revenge in the man's eyes did not bode well. And the injured friend, relative, he was hovering over was probably why. A problem for another time. Hammond needed to make his escape before it was too late. With one last look at the mess he'd ended up in, Hammond swiftly disappeared into the night. That's it for the second part.
Okay, so the potion slowed time for him, or made him faster or whatever?
It was a slow motion potion.
It's a slow-mo popo.
Mm-hmm.
I dig it. But it does... Now, I guess not that it matters. Doesn't affect time. It slows down the people.
Slows them down.
Yeah.
But it was made by Poppy specifically to accommodate Hammond.
So, wait, I'm sorry. Did I miss it? Did you throw it at the ground and it exploded or something? Or
He threw it at a rock and it exploded.
Okay.
I dig it.
I probably would have kidnapped the king just for ransom, safety, to make my escape.
I think that would have only made things worse.
Yeah,
I think
well,
so too. It guarantees
he's
that
already
they're all coming for you.
They're
he's
already
in
coming
it,
for
so,
him. There's a war. He's killed possibly a royal relative. I mean, or severely injured.
I was saying before, like you had the one
This is war.
warrior brownie
Yeah.
or whatever, and I imagine him wearing like a squirrel pelt, the way a Viking might wear a bear pelt, like
That would
with
be
the
great.
upper half of the skull still
can add
intact.
that.
Or a shrew or anything,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
the teeth sticking out over
Right?
his nose.
Yes, exactly. You got me. Like
Or
I totally
mouse or
imagine it.
whatever.
And then I was saying that like the king should be wearing a pocket watch, but as a necklace.
Jesus.
Like,
He wants it to be Flavor Flav.
wouldn't it be amazing though?
That would be insane.
Like a big gold pocket watch. Like, could you think?
Does he need
He'd
a grill
fall over.
too?
Or better yet, how would he pee? What was that? Oh God!
Like,
That's
I've
a
just-
callback. I can try to remember the movie. Never mind. Good
I don't know. I think it's a hilarious visual, like because I feel like the treasure of brownies is like found things.
Oh, I
Right.
agree with that.
And
Sort of like anybody who's old enough, and there's probably few and almost none in the audience, but the Littles.
I don't remember it.
They were like
Stuart
half
Little.
mouse or something, and they were making things out of thimbles and found items in the house.
Oh.
Is that what Stuart Little comes from?
I don't know. I don't know what we're talking
No,
about.
they're like some weird, mostly human kind of mouse things.
Strange.
It was a cartoon.
But yeah, found things or treasures. So you're like I feel like they're wearing like people's rings as like bracelets.
Maybe he has like a penny hanging from his chest.
Probably wear that
Not
as
terrible. Or like
as a
gold
belt,
coin or
you
something
know?
like that. You know.
or
Yeah.
what
Oh, yeah, they
girdle
probably
were
don't have
calling it
pennies.
they-
Right, like a queen
Oh yeah, you could make
something or other commemorative gold coin.
they could make a breastplate out of that, just kind of shaping it at the edges. Just
So.
put two of them together.
Yeah, not bad.
Or
Yeah.
a bottle cap. For
Yeah.
a
Oh
helmet.
yeah. That's not bad. Like body armor made of bent coins. Like. Yeah, that's interesting.
It'd be super thick on them.
Like a shilling. Like
I mean, that thing would be like.
right? Because a shilling was a coin, right?
Yeah.
I don't know because I never had a shilling.
Yeah, I think it's. I think it's 12 pence.
12 pence. Ah. Well, that fixes everything.
Yeah, their money system was.
I know
really,
exactly
really
what that
crazy.
means.
I don't. You guys lost me.
Hey, I don't
There were
actually.
pennies.
Yeah.
There's like so many shillings to a pound. I can't remember.
But no, but I think that's kind of how their society may work, is that they have these found things. I think that just manipulating entropy is a great, like, thing for them. You know, it's like,
And while it wasn't said, you said they were chittering. I'm like wondering, like you were suggesting maybe they're speaking Welsh. I'm thinking maybe it sounds like
well,
a
she
squirrel.
said Fey.
I don't know.
Tyr said just Fey language, and I don't know. Does that mean all Fey things understand each other?
No, that was more like Hammond. Language isn't something that's
Oh,
important to
so
Hammond.
Hammond
so
is
he
being a
was
racist.
just kind of, but he was like, "You speak brownie," and like he referred to it as their Fey language because they're Fey,
Right.
but not because he's taking the time to
Well,
to like recognize
There's probably a
who
lot
they
of
are or
languages,
what
but
they speak.
more than one Fey probably speaks. You know, a breed of Fey probably speaks a similar language. I'd hope. Because if all the intelligent
Yeah,
Fey had a
Hammond
different
is
language, it'd be
guessing.
very confusing.
Like Wilhelm, obviously,
Fair
it has
enough.
to be a known enough language for Wilhelm to be able to translate. So, something that's familiar among demons. Even Wilhelm would be a demon or something, or something other.
Well, they're doppelgangers, so yeah, it's a type of demon.
Yeah, but do we mean demon as in like evil spirit,
truly,
or
if
demon
he
as
got-
hellspawn?
If he got knowledge
Probably evil
from
spirit.
the actual Wilhelm, it doesn't matter.
That's
Like,
true. That's
Bottom
true
line,
because
it was
they're
just
made from their good counterparts.
right. So somehow he has knowledge of this language, but really Hammond called it both a Fey language, and then he said, "You speak brownie." So I mean, he was generalizing. It could
Okay,
be
no, that's fair
anything.
enough. I mean, I guess I took you a little literally on that, but yeah, that
Yeah.
is a fair assumption about Hammond.
Well, you know what? When it comes to Wilhelm, he probably would normally correct, but would evil Wilhelm? I mean, only if he's being an a-hole about it. I don't think he suffers the need to be as pedantic. Like,
Wait, what?
I,
Wilhelm didn't correct him.
Well,
right,
I
but
don't
I
think.
think the real Wilhelm.
I don't
would,
think that.
Oh, real Wilhelm
Yeah,
might.
evil
because details
Wilhelm.
matter. to him.
Evil Wilhelm don't give a
Evil
shit.
Wilhelm wouldn't simply because it's his leverage.
Right, exactly.
You know.
And it's in his best interest that Hammond not figure out what he's
Right.
saying to them.
Oh, yeah. Even
Um,
with the learning annex in 2 years, that's not happening.
so I adjusted it a little bit to where he made almost a full turn when one caught his attention. The tiny growling man wearing a squirrel carcass as a hat was given a wide berth by even his own people. No? Change?
Hat and cape.
Yeah, I was thinking the same. Yeah.
Hold on. With a
Good.
squirrel carcass draped over his head and shoulders.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm
So
imagining
it's more
that
like a cape with
the
a hood.
upper half of the skull is like a helmet, and then
Yeah, like it's got not the bottom.
and the
jaw, but
pelt is
the-
like a cape.
with the
You know.
Yeah.
Yes, I
It's
know
how
what
the
you're
Vikings
referring
wore it.
to, and
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that anybody who reads that would grasp the
Okay.
visual.
Fine.
No?
Hey, that's fine.
I think they did in Willow.
Well,
Okay.
no.
Yes, I remember.
I haven't seen it in so long. I'm kind of tempted to watch it again, but I'm afraid it's awful. And
idiot.
you know what I'm
Yeah, she was
saying?
a goat
Like,
then.
like there's so many of those things from when you were a kid that you're like,
No, Willow
this
was
is
great. It was
and then
great.
you watch as an adult, and you're like, this
No,
is
it's still good.
terrible.
It's still good.
I don't know. Val Kilmer was in it. Could be hit or miss because Val Kilmer had some great things,
He was good in it.
Real
and he had
genius.
some awful things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh
A
my
Real
God.
Genius is amazing. It's
It
still amazing
was.
because I watched it recently.
I know. I did
And then he
too.
played Batman. And no.
Listen, I'll take Val Kilmer Batman over Affleck.
I don't know.
Okay, fair.
He's not my choice for Batman, but I do blame a lot more on writing, directing, and everything else.
Oh yeah, no.
involved.
There's I was listening to a show about the writing of the Batman movies and how genius Christopher Nolan was, but Ben Affleck, Batman, it wasn't just Ben Affleck. The writing of the movies he was in were not good.
Well, I don't blame. Again,
There's no
we've
build.
tread this
There was
ground.
no
We've tread
real
this ground.
plot.
But Affleck has only had 5 minutes of Batman in any movie.
I still don't like Affleck as an
I'm kind
actor.
of grateful for that.
No, but I mean, he's never actually hunted a
But he's
criminal.
not a good actor.
It's
I'll be
always
the
an
first one to
intergalactic
admit
plot or versus Superman.
I've never seen Batman versus Superman.
It's not good.
You're
Yeah.
fine. You're fine without it.
So
I mean, half of it's got some weird dream sequences that doesn't tell you it's dream sequences and then fades in and out of it. But it's actually him somehow prophetically seeing the future, which
And
is not an ability he has.
what?
Because Stuff Flash screwed up the timeline, but they don't really describe it, and it's stupid. It's stupid.
Oh Lord.
And I hate Mary Sue to begin with, and fucking Superman is the ultimate Mary Sue.
Oh my God.
I don't even have a problem with Superman.
Well, you know what? That's actually something we can briefly address. If you're not familiar with the writing term Mary Sue, it's someone who's just got everything handed
Well,
to them and not earned.
They probably are because we discussed it in
which is a
episode
bit
2.
sexist, but the term exists.
Yeah, but Superman is a Mary Sue.
Totally.
He is a Mary Sue. We actually discussed Superman being as Mary Sue in the tropes episode.
And he is the
Okay.
worst of them. In my opinion, I don't know. Let me know if there's one that's worse than Superman. But I think Superman's the worst Mary Sue.
There are, but he's probably the most well known.
Well, they had to invent kryptonite just to make him slightly more interesting.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And then, but even that doesn't work, right? Because every time something
Well,
that
he always
could hurt
overcomes
him
it.
comes along, that's it. He's got a new power or something else that makes him better than it. It's just boring.
Even when you kill him, he comes back from the dead.
So you
multiple
can't
times.
possibly have a good script with Superman in it. You can't.
I don't think it's his powers so much that made Superman worth watching.
Well, this
The
time around,
relationships.
they even got a douche to
his
play him.
relationships with his parents and the struggle in his relationship with Lois Lane, and like those. That's what you watched for. Like the actual superhero stuff. No, you're right. It's boring because he's too all powerful.
Well, I don't
But
blame
both their
casting.
mother's name is Martha.
Oh God.
So
Really?
Wait,
a
both-
coincidence of writing.
Superman
and
and
they
Batman?
latch on that
Yep.
as a movie
Batman doesn't
plot.
have parents, so that doesn't count,
Oh, he has adopted parents. But
right?
wait, what are we talking about, Batman?
His parents are dead.
Yeah, her name was Martha.
Well, she's gone now, so it don't matter.
How do you know that name? It's so bad.
Oh God.
It's
yeah,
so
you want to talk about my
bad.
voices? Do you bleed?
Okay, once again, we have gotten off the topic of our story and jumped right onto the Batman complaining.
And I try not to hate on people's writing, but that was so bad.
And like these people probably think we hate Batman, and I actually love.
I
Batman.
love Batman.
I
That's
grew
why
up
I
on
hate
Batman.
this.
Well, don't
Batman
worry.
has the best villains.
They're not done ruining the entire franchise.
Oh, I'm aware. They're gonna drive this shit into the ground.
I can't wait for the Joker movie.
Okay. Anyway.
Please tell me you're not talking about Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh, I'm going to see it.
It looks awful.
I agree.
Oh my
but I'm going to
God.
see it. I'm either gonna.
Okay. Aside
it
from the
or
squirrel
love it.
carcass.
Okay.
Do we
Ba-
want to add
we have a
anything?
story to finish here.
Fine.
No, I love the squirrel carcass. I love the slow-mo po.
This all started from.
I want to know what the fins are.
I
and I
was
feel
thinking
like we have
mermaid,
to-
like evil
Right.
blood-sucking mermaid,
But I feel like
or
we're not done
possibly
with
a
this.
kelpie, a siren. It could be
blood-sucking.
anything.
I feel like we're not.
Oh, if it's a mermaid, she's got to be evil.
but I feel like
well,
we're
I
not.
mean, traditionally they just drown you.
Done.
I don't know if they eat you or if they
Oh,
just
she's
devour
got
your
to be
With-
souls.
evil.
The fins.
I'm thinking like those big, like needle teeth with
You
the
mean like a
gaping
catfish
mouth.
that cuts you with the fins?
Wait, what?
I no, I'm just saying. She describes these blue fins surfacing. I'm like, I feel like we're not done with it. Like
Oh,
even though
it runs
your
Oh
Chapter
chapter
yeah,
might be
that
over.
was an opening, man. That was
Right,
an
like,
opening.
it's like-
down the spine kind of thing.
Oh
he
well,
didn't
see, I
see
keep
what
talking
it-
about the pleco. You know what a pleco is, right? Plecostomus.
Yeah.
Like how they got the folding razor fins. Like
a
yeah, I get
head
them to
wrench?
I get them to clean
But
my
they
fish
have
tanks.
that big creepy mouth too, right?
Right, they got the big sucker mouth. Well, I created.
So if we
did I
make
talk
them-
about that in the air?
If we make a, you
I don't
might
think
have,
so.
you might have,
The monster I created. That's basically like a human pleco.
maybe.
The filth.
So
The filth suckers.
I was saying,
Oh, no, I
I
think
say
that
we
was off
steal
there.
that from you and then make the mermaid have that same mouth.
Yeah, they basically they have those fins that cut people when they get too close on their like limbs and stuff like that, and they got sucker mouth, and they like eat the algae and shit off the inside of
Yeah.
catacombs.
No, but I was thinking like if we're gonna
Yeah,
make
like
it a mermaid or something, she's got to be like truly evil and creepy as hell.
Yeah, no, I
It's
get
not
it.
a hot mermaid.
No, I
Like-
think they should be
like-
hideous. I think
Yeah,
they should be
hideous,
gross.
like seaweed hair and needle teeth and yeah.
And like hissing or like
That's-
screeching.
It's like
Like, ooh, where
Like,
the jaw unhinges
that-
and the mouth gets like freaky weird and it can almost like swallow you whole.
What is that? I know the noise, and the guy from frickin' Lonely Island does this character, something Ronnie.
Shy Ronnie.
Where he does the like I feel like that's how they sound. Is
But
that noise he
but
makes?
you have like a
That is
few
an
options
obscure
there. It
reference
was
to make.
just
Dude, it's so funny.
a glimpse of blue fins, though. It could really be like anything.
It
Kelpie,
could,
siren,
yeah, it could.
anything. Loch Ness.
Oh, you know what I feel like we need? I feel like we need like Scottish walrus people or something. I don't know.
What's that
Well,
other
they
thing?
had
Oh,
kelpies, which is
selkies.
seals.
Yeah.
There's silkies.
Or was it silky?
Well, those are
Selkies.
Selkie,
yeah, they're like part sea lion.
Yeah. And
Uh,
like Kelpie was a horse, water horse or something.
And
right?
I'm referring to Jamie
think you're-
Heineman from
sounds right.
Mythbusters, who is a walrus person. So, nothing personal. It's just amazing.
It's like the mustache, right?
Yeah, it is. The mustache does it all. Like I'm
Yeah.
like,
I'm just picturing the
we got to give this guy tusks. It's great.
that Alice in Wonderland cartoon with the walrus.
Oh yeah. I remember where they're leading the clams to their doom.
All right. Anyway.
Yes, we've had too much caffeine and sugar.
Beer. I am not
Anything
drunk.
else that we want to add? Do I need to make him run for more than 10 to 15 minutes before he's out of breath?
10 to 15 minutes. I'd be like doubled over dying.
What?
in 10 to 15 minutes. That's too much. Like, maybe Hammond can do it, but then I think I've said before he smokes cigars.
Yeah, I see him a bit portly.
He is portly.
Well, I drew him kind
I
of
figured
more
if you're
muscular.
running for your
Well, no, I
life,
see him muscular, but like a pod
But
belly
yeah,
and
like
big
he's got these
thighs.
short little legs because we said he's what 5'3" or something like that.
you can't run for 10 minutes?
And so
Out of fear, he could do 8.
That-
Yeah, he could do 8
Oh my
minutes.
god.
until the adrenaline wears off, and then you feel death in your
I
lungs.
was trying to make it a short period of time when you're running
Start
for your life and you
grasping at
have the
your left pec.
adrenaline rush.
He's in his mid to late 40s.
I know.
You-
Okay,
you
so
can't
5 to
run
10
that
minutes.
long in your 40s.
I mean, I'm not that
I-
far off from 40s, and I
Okay.
can run.
But no,
Okay, 5 to 10 minutes too much? How
How
about we make it 3 or 4?
I'm thinking maybe he hijacks a carriage or something like that, so he doesn't have to run that long.
Listen, that's what it's why it's supposed to be
I
funny.
think he could do 6 to 10 minutes.
Okay, I
Oh no,
changed-
no,
With
no,
a
no, no, no!
cramp.
No, he tries to steal a horse.
And a
Right?
hitch in his lungs.
He can't get on the horse because he's short, so he has to steal a pony. No short jokes.
Hammond ran for
Alright,
what
fine.
must have been 3-4 minutes. He huffed frantically, trying to fill his aching lungs.
Exhausting minutes.
Even a man of his stature and prowess had his limits. Better?
I love stature because he's 5'3".
Oh, I know.
I do like that, like, if you word it right, the 3 to 4 minutes just sounding so long.
Well, to him it does, but I figured like
See,
10
that's
minutes when
funny.
you're running for your life. I thought that was a short amount of time.
Damn it.
Damn it!
No,
Hammond.
I'm just thinking that this is intended to be a comedy, and that's one of the funniest lines.
Right? No, I dig it.
3 or 4 whole minutes.
Can you imagine him explaining this when he gets back? I ran for 3 or 4 solid
Listen,
minutes.
no. He's thinking this at the time. It must have been 3-4 minutes, but when he gets back, I was running for like 20-30 minutes. It's gonna get blown up into a hero's tale when he gets back to the
Like, how do you
brownstone.
How do you put it into print? How do you do that?
Well, like I said, a hitch in his lungs and a cramp in his side.
Yeah, that's I don't know, that's torture.
Maybe some
for fat
blurring in
guys.
his peripheral vision.
So I'm just saying, I'm a little stout myself, and 3 or 4 minutes is a good haul. That was a good try. After that, the monster gets you.
Okay, I was trying to make it a short time. Should I make it 2 or 3?
No, 3 or 4 is
You
fine.
can't
No,
run
I'm
for
saying
3 minutes.
you get to, but you're talking about 10 minutes. That's insane.
Well, yeah, you really think
People
about it.
run for 10 minutes like all the time.
Yeah, people who
Yeah,
run.
crazy people.
Those people get up at dawn and
Yeah,
shit.
he invents things so he
Listen.
doesn't have to run.
What is that about?
I run on a treadmill across by my job, and I definitely do not get up at dawn.
To be fair, her workplace is powered by hamster wheel. So
I just find it humorous that right now, out of our dozens of listeners,
dozens. Okay.
One of them's a jogger right now listening to this.
Yeah. You guys really can't run for 10 minutes?
These
That's
guys are
pathetic.
gonna die when the zombie apocalypse starts. I've read up on my rules.
Yeah.
I've watched
Cardio.
Zombieland.
Yeah. It's rule number 1.
Yeah.
You guys aren't listening.
I don't
Oh,
know.
I'm
You
not
can't
surviving.
rely on the double tap alone.
Oh no, I befriend a lot of fat people.
It doesn't matter. They'll be dead within weeks.
Yeah, you just knock them down one at a time so you can get away.
Which, again, only extends your lifespan by a few weeks.
We're done before they can eat me.
I don't know. I'm going to get one of these monster trucks from these overcompensating people.
There's one on my street now. So, all right. No, I think it's great. I think it's lovely. I have questions, but the right kind of questions, like
Like what?
what are these fins?
Yeah, but you're not
So-
supposed to know what
Right,
the
right.
fins
But I
are
feel
just
like we
yet.
got to figure out where to like put them later. So maybe somebody
We
else's
should,
chapter
like,
mentions
we,
them.
we should bring it up later. Or
Oh,
make a
oh,
hex
oh.
file.
Well, no. Okay, I was gonna say though that when this all resolves, when the team comes together, and then the evil team comes in, it maybe ends up in getting one of the like dark team members to get eaten by the.
I was going to say we totally bust out like a Daryl Hannah. Like she comes out of the water and lures somebody back in. What the fuck was that movie? With
Splash.
Yes!
Splash
with
was
Tom
amazing. It was so good.
Yeah, one of the few Disney movies with a surprising amount of nudity.
Yeah, they should have kept that trend.
We should make her like lure somebody in, and then she turns into that creepy ass monster.
It'd
we
be
were
even
talking
funnier if the
about.
character's name was Daryl Hannah. Like,
She was awesome enough to need to be recreated.
all right. Well, all right. We'll come back in a little bit, and we will go over Odin's chapter.
Sounds good.
All right.
Odin needs you. As Ragnarok approaches, your likes, ratings, and comments give him strength. Help the cause at the Dark and Stormy K1 on Twitter, the darkandstormynights.home.blog, or at Podbean, iTunes, or Google Play Music.
This is Loki, and welcome back to Jackass.
Wrong show.
Yeah, I don't think we have the rights to that.
Oh, okay. Never mind. All right, so we are back to talk about chapter. I think. Don't quote me on this. I think it's 14.
It's
we didn't actually look at the numbers.
14, unless I've messed something
Well,
up horribly.
And so.
Which
Wait, is
is-
it chapter 14 but podcast whatever 20?
Oh yeah, no, we're well over that in podcasts.
Okay. When
Um.
you throw out numbers, I'm never sure what we're addressing.
It's chapter 14.
Right, chapter
Okay.
14, where you will be addressing good Wilhelm
Mm-hmm.
and evil.
Oh, hold on. I have it framed. Hold on.
Evil-
Good Wilhelm, gnomes,
Gnomes. Yes, evil gnomes.
and
Who we've described as similar to the
runs into evil Zara.
Weeping Angels and evil Zara.
Okay.
Yes.
So.
Don't blink.
Right. So, okay, what I want to know, though, are these gnomes exactly like the Weeping Angels? Like, were they...
I don't know the reference.
They-
Like,
okay.
Oh my God.
I've seen like 15 seconds.
They
of what
only
you're talking
move
about.
when you're looking away.
Right.
Oh no,
It's like red light, green light.
They can totally move, but they enjoy screwing with you.
So that's what
So-
it is. That's what I was asking. That's what I was about to ask. Is can they only do that, or are they fucking with you?
Oh no, they're heavily fucking with you. Because here's the thing.
I like that. I like what they're
You know
fucking
what?
with you.
Are we going to bring the homeowner into it, though? Because I almost love the idea that they've been messing with this woman, and like
Yes.
every
Like
time
she's
she
losing her fucking
right, every
mind.
time she goes out to garden, the gnomes are in a different place, and so she
But
really
I feel like it'd
thinks
be
it's
like
the
these
Doctor
fucking
Who
kids
thing.
are like moving my gnomes around and screwing with me.
Well, so I
or
think
she
that
thinks it's a spirit or something.
well, she in the call she said that her gnome was alive and stealing out of her garden.
Oh, maybe
or
that's what it
whatever.
is. You know, all this time I thought the gnomes were screwing with me, or thought the kids were screwing with me, and then I catch one of the gnomes.
So
And he just thinks she's batty. And so he investigates.
but
Oh,
your
okay.
homeowner should make some reference to "Don't blink."
Yeah. So what?
Yeah, like maybe she grabs Wilhelm by the collar, and it's like, "Don't blink." like when they, like I just
It's kind of funny. What I saw was, okay, if you've ever, it was a trend maybe a decade ago. They still kind of do it, but
planking. I love planking.
No.
Okay.
Or Halloween or Batmaning, none of that. No. When you had like your 40th or 50th birthday, somebody would get together
Oh yeah, the lawn.
And get you a nursing home?
decorations.
Flamingos, gnomes, whatever, and they'd
Oh.
put it all over your yard. Well, I picture her having this kind of like small but well-maintained cottage, like stone, and she's got this lush garden that is way oversized for her property. Like she's just made it.
I love
beautiful.
it. I'm almost seeing like a Thomas Kincaid kind of fairy
Yes,
tale.
yes. So it's sort of kind of rolling hills and whatever. Anyway, so she has this garden that's segregated, like different types of flowers,
racist.
sort of like the Victory Gardens after World War II, and there's just gnomes everywhere because she enjoys collecting them for whatever reason. But one just keeps moving, and he keeps trying and eyeballing it. They all have like different paint jobs or a little chip missing out of their hat, that kind of thing. They're concrete, and one's just like stalking him. And he kind of knows it's happening, but he's not sure. But he feels like he's losing his mind. But it's got to be this one. But what's really happening is they're all moving. They're all screwing with him and doing different things. And eventually, one reveals itself to him, and there's a bit of verbal exchange, and eventually a bit of battle. Next thing you know, there's 40 of them alive. So I just kind of see this chiller kind of horror thing slowly unveiling.
I feel like
So they're truly evil.
Oh God, they're malevolent as hell. They have like little daggers. I see them riding cats.
sharp teeth.
Riding cats. That's
Sharp,
excellent.
pointy teeth.
Behind the rabbit. It
Rabbits
is
can be
the
fun.
rabbit.
What does she have, like the concrete frog or whatever like that? That's maybe also alive.
Well, I'm open to suggestions, but that was my thoughts.
You should have one vain gnome, and he keeps checking out his reflection in like the gazing ball that people put out in their gardens.
Oh,
Well, she
ooh.
might have one of those koi pond kind of things.
Yeah.
Are you being coy?
Well, it's probably more of a frog pond, but you know what I mean.
I mean, who knows? But
Oh my God.
But I'm not sure how to make Zara evil and when to introduce her or what to do with her. I'm not entirely sure on that. Like
I'm saying
I see
she
this whole-
straight up crushes one of the gnomes, like evil.
well, I was thinking. So they're
Problem
all over him,
solved.
right? They're all over him, right?
Okay.
Like there
yeah,
comes
she
a point
definitely has
where
to.
they're all over him. She crushes one gnome. Maybe she does help him.
Maybe the one who comes after her.
But yeah, well, I'm thinking like I'll help you, and then she starts beating the daylights out of fucking Wilhelm, like she's swinging on the
I
gnomes.
got him. I got
Okay,
him.
now it's a comedy.
Right?
That's
She picks
kind
up
of
a
funny.
big stick and just starts beating it
Yeah.
off.
The weather vane.
fucking
She
tree-
she
a tree
snatches,
branch.
I was gonna say she snatches the weather vane out of the
Yeah.
garden. You know.
One's a dry rod branch. It's big.
The
and thick,
frickin'
like
bird
bigger
bath.
Than a
Oh yeah.
Just
Just
stone
crushes it
bird-
over him like fucking WWE.
Stone
on his
bird
ass.
bath.
She picks up a thick,
Oh.
dry rotted branch, thicker than the head of a croquet mallet, cracks him over
Oh
the
my
head, and the thing
gosh.
snaps off. And
Um,
I could see it.
Oh God, I can almost hear like the music playing, like a Shrek
Benny Hill?
movie. Okay, this could be funny.
All right. Yeah, I could dig that.
I almost feel like we should make little references to the seven dwarves with the personalities of the different gnomes. One of
Could be
them's got
fun.
allergies.
But I feel like Evil Zara's kind of got to like get out of there before it all, you know.
Yeah, I think that's hilarious. She's like beating on Wilhelm. I got him, I'm helping, and then she disappears before the job's done.
Yep, gotta go.
I'm
I
just
left
thinking
the-
that you've already done
I
brownies.
left the oven on, gotta go.
And you've already done a witch because I was thinking of making a twist with the old lady.
Well, maybe she makes them. Maybe the garden gnomes.
The Baba Yaga?
No, the old lady of the house.
Yeah, I was thinking of making
How's she
her
animating them?
Souls.
Ooh, I love it.
evil. Of all the children that disappear in the neighborhood.
Oh, well, no, her victims.
Oh,
she lures
oh,
people.
and then
That's
Wilhelm-
what she's gonna try to do to
Listen.
Wilhelm,
Wilhelm finally figures it out, and her cottage gets up on chicken legs.
and walks away.
All right, a callback.
Oh
All right.
no! See, that's what Evil
All right.
Zara.
There's
Maybe
like 10
Evil
of
Zara's
them.
like, I'm gonna go inside and get something, and then she goes inside, and then the cottage stands up and walks away, and that's how Zara gets away.
Well, who's the last one? That was Meredith I met? Baba Yaga?
Yeah.
briefly? Okay. So,
Are those chicken
Nice
legs?
callback. I like it.
hmm.
Like, how many addresses does this bitch have?
How do I make illusions of all the children disappearing?
Well, I don't think it's children.
Okay,
no,
you know
it
what-
totally
I
is.
think it's the
She eats
people she
babies.
lures into her yard, like
We've covered
Wilhelm.
this. She eats babies.
That's fine. If you want to do children, I mean, you could really have like
Makes it creepier.
have Wilhelm walking
Yeah,
to
I
her.
guess.
Wilhelm walking to her cottage, her sweet little perfectly quaint cottage, and have the neighbors spreading rumors, like as he walks past, whispering about the missing
Well, yeah,
children.
Maybe she's
And
coming up. Maybe he's coming up to the cottage,
yeah,
and somebody's like, "Careful with this one. We think it's where the children are going," or something like that.
yeah, like have the neighbors whispering their rumors, and of course Wilhelm would be like, "Yeah, okay then," you know, and
Or maybe there's just a missing poster.
Oh, no, no, no,
or
no.
tons of them.
Oh,
Yeah.
no. That's the twist. Okay, because what she was called, supposedly she called in this job because she was having a problem.
Right.
They're haunting her. This is a backlash on Baba Yaga. She's trapped. Her house can't move. She's surrounded by these fey spirits.
Oh, so, well, are they
That-
fae, or is it
Well,
the
whatever.
Well,
souls
gnomes?
of people she has
Yes.
killed
So she's
coming
haunted.
back to haunt her?
Yes.
This just got creepier.
So Wilhelm actually ends up freeing her, and she runs off in her chicken hut.
oh, that's funny.
That's funny. Oh my God, she calls the good guys to help her. Oh God damn it!
That's
The
great.
chapter got better.
Yeah, not bad.
That's hilarious.
Just remember, it's like 1,000,000 chicken legs. This thing's on.
Yeah, I got it. It's like a millipede.
Centipede,
It's like the
yeah.
chicken centipede, yeah.
That is awesome.
But they should be like raw and fleshy, like they're undercooked or something.
Well, I thought they were just like sort of living-looking chicken legs.
I don't think I described it.
Okay.
I don't know. Listen back to my chapter. It'll, yeah, I don't think I described it, though. I think I just said it got up on like 1,000 chicken legs.
Described what?
Whether the chicken legs were raw and fleshy or
No,
full
I
on.
don't think you went into quite that much
Yeah,
detail.
I'm not sure if they're extra
I know
crispy.
the hut was described a bit, but I mean,
Yeah,
maybe,
it's
maybe it
stone.
can change shape a
I
little.
feel like they're live,
bottom half
like
is
live
stone.
chicken legs.
The top half is like thatch and stuff.
So what is it, like a 2-story deal?
No, it's like the old German cottages where
So what are you talking about? The roof is thatch?
up to the window was stone.
Oh,
like a
half
stack
wall.
stone. Right, and then the other, the top half is like plaster and thatch.
Okay.
So that's really all I described. But that's interesting. No, I love that. I love where this went all of a sudden. That's great. I'm glad we kicked this around because now I'm like, this is fucking hilarious. And it made the chapter all the better. Like, it's a bigger fuck you because she's the bad guy that got away in 2 chapters ago.
Right, she already escaped them, and now she calls them back.
Right, she calls
now
the-
I'm stuck.
Yeah.
It's like ditching your significant other on the side of the road and then calling them. I got a flat. Come get me.
No, it's great. It's great. So, all right. So, any other ideas for it, or what are you thinking? Or yeah.
I don't know. Well, I'm having a little trouble. Okay. Are the souls turned into gnomes? Are they just inhabiting the body of the concrete gnomes? Like,
Like it almost seems like they've come back to haunt her.
right. But are they actually gnomes? Is that
Is
what
something
gnomes are?
Fae
The dead?
helping them? Like is
Maybe
some-
the Fey magic that's now permeating this
Oh, that's good.
realm
Yeah, maybe because
has
of
made
the
this possible.
Yeah, because of whatever's going on, the fracture or
Yeah,
whatever.
because I
it
felt
is.
the gnomes had the ability to turn themselves into stone. So you know.
Right.
Yeah, but
Well,
maybe they're just possessing the stone gnomes.
Hmm.
So
You
that's
can probably
interesting.
go either way with it.
Yeah.
I like them having the ability to turn to stone. That's, I don't know, but
Well, hey, go for it, man. I mean, this is your chapter. We haven't
Extra
really
creepy,
written.
make them like actual stone, but then when you walk past, the eyes follow.
right.
I'm pretty sure it's paint though. Like I think that they're painted on,
They are.
but they're following me.
But have you ever seen those paintings where you walk past and the eyes follow you?
Yeah, but those are
It's
real
like
eyes.
Scooby Doo.
Those are made from real eyes, though.
Make them from real eyes.
Ew. They're like jelly eyes inside of a stone statuette.
Oh, I just realized there is a large garden.
So maybe she's got some of those lion statues.
No, I meant that there's. I'm like, where am I going to have all these little kid graves? Oh yeah,
They're under the corn.
basically there's, all that freshly turned earth. This rich black loam of soil.
Interesting. You could have like a craggy old tree or something like that. That, the the bodies are shoved into the hollow of or something.
Oh,
like
that's
that.
interesting. Like the whole area is just dead and desiccated, and as closer you get to the cabin, it's just lush and beautiful.
Right.
Just all this life.
So maybe there's always death around the craggy old tree, and then you get close to the cabin, it's
all green and
fresh
verdant,
and
you know.
lush and stuff. Yeah. So it's the two magics kind of countering each other or something.
Sort of a side effect of her feeding on the life forces. of
Yeah,
the
there's got to be a
children or something.
downside, right? It can't be all like fun and games eating children.
I mean, there's a lot of cooking involved, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's what I said. Like, we need somewhere where there's like a greasy, uncooked child hanging from a like a clothesline or something by its toes.
That's disturbing. This is a comedy.
I was gonna say, if you want them
Did
to
that
go
get
inside,
dark?
I can put them on meat hooks.
Well, no, I'm just
Oh.
imagining like the chickens behind a Chinese place, or not chicken,
Dude,
ducks. The ducks behind
listen.
the Chinese place.
Kid ghosts are creepy enough.
Children are creepy. Like, not even anything wrong with them. And I've got one,
I know.
and they're creepy.
I mean, yeah, but kid ghosts are even more creepy.
Like, if you've got kids
I
and then
see
they
dead
come up and
people,
randomly
you know,
say
like
weird
it's
shit to
creepy
you,
shit.
you're like, what is
Yeah.
wrong with you?
Should I have a little ghost child helping him along?
Why would they help him though? He's like destroying gnomes.
They might try to communicate with him. They might try to be like, no, it's her. It's her. Like, very, like, I don't know. What's the problem? Can they not talk to him?
Well, at first they're going to attack because they assume that he's there to help, which he is.
Maybe it's because their mouths are cemented shut.
How's he gonna defeat them? Aside from Zara beating the hell out of
Well,
him.
when they're concrete form, they can be broken.
So he's gonna shatter them all, and that's what's gonna free the cottage.
Well, it sounds like Zara's going to do most of the work
No,
with a
you're
stick.
killing us all over again.
That's horrible.
I don't know. It seems funny.
We shall dip our heads in your blood.
He's taking a shovel to them, knocking their heads off and stuff like that.
Yes, all the gardening tools.
Yeah, he's going
She
through
raids
them
the
all.
shed.
The backhoe. Why do you have a scythe? Like, you know?
That's awesome.
Think they can animate some of the thorny plants around them?
I mean, they can have whatever powers you want them to have, you know? I mean, maybe they own the garden. They control it. Or
Yeah, it's
something,
like
you
their
know?
realm. That's what it is. They've trapped her in this space.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, he comes along and he's basically like... Yeah, so he has to bust her out of the garden, basically. So, yeah, he's cutting down fucking these gnomes and shit like that.
And then after the tree leaves, the house leaves, the whole area just turns brown.
Yeah, yeah.
Like almost instantly.
desiccates. And
Yeah.
yeah, not bad.
Okay. Yeah,
But maybe they come together and form Nomator, and they like go running after the...
Is
the
this
cottage.
another Voltron?
No,
Yeah, but it's a Voltron of gnomes. Actually, I don't think we can use it because Gravity Falls did have gnomes come together
to create one big
to
gnome.
create one big gnome, yeah.
Like this is
If you don't watch Gravity Falls, you must. It is
I do
amazing.
not.
It is so good. I like cartoons. And I am not ashamed. So, no, I mean, have at it, by all means. I mean, they're ghosts, so of course they probably have some power. I don't think they have, like poltergeisty power while they're inhabiting the gnomes.
No, but I feel like you're right. I think they control the space. That's part of the life in that
Yeah.
zone.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. So, okay, so like pea pods are shooting peas at people and stuff like that.
I don't know. Dragonflies, any number of crap.
Yeah.
Wait, were you just suggesting that like this turns into a food fight and they're throwing the garden vegetables at each other?
I'm saying is like they might
What else are you gonna
control
use them
all the
for?
living matter in this living sphere.
They have taken over, spiritually, taken over the whole garden.
That's why
So we have like a Veggie Tales thing going on now.
That's gross.
yeah, there's no reason to bring religion into this.
Where's that cucumber been?
Okay, you're going a different way.
It's called hell. But anyway, I digress. No, I don't know. I mean, it could be anything. Like I said, I don't think they have poltergeisty power while they're inhabiting the gnomes, but they maybe, they have control over the garden itself or whatever.
Yeah,
So
my feeling is with that rift that you gave us, they came over fully physically as gnomes. Like they were dead, and now they're like living, but as these.
Well, you were suggesting that the
spiritual
witch was
creatures.
making the gnomes, no?
yeah, that was a
originally, but-
suggestion.
Yeah, now that they're turned against her, that doesn't work.
Why not?
Why?
She could have done it and they could just
Anything
have
you
turned
can
against
create
her.
can turn
Maybe it's
against
once
you.
the rift opened up, they gained full control.
You're saying that she uses them as like some sort of guardians of her yard.
No, I'm saying that they're
Maybe
trophies.
she just created her She created a gnome for every child she killed.
Yeah, she
Yeah, but why would you?
sculpts these gnomes.
Serial
she traps
killer?
the souls in them. She's a freak, right? And until the rift happened, it was no big deal.
Okay,
Then the rift
okay.
happened, and they animate.
Yeah,
Okay, so
they
what
got
you're saying is-
control over their
Yeah.
The
bodies.
statutes are to hold the souls, so they couldn't be used against her.
Yeah,
But then with the rift, they somehow are able
it
to
animated
animate
it.
them.
Yeah, they got power.
Ooh.
Okay, so it turns against her.
Yeah, it backfires. And now she's got to get the chicken legs up and out of Dodge.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, I dig it. Is that it?
I mean,
Yeah,
sounds pretty good.
All right,
I don't think I need any more instruction on that.
great. Come taste us next week. We'll be back. Visit us on Twitter at thedarkstormyk1, at Podbean at thedarkandstormynights.podbean.com, on
The website,
at
thedarkandstormynights.home.blog.
is that the only places?
What do we get? Twitter, Facebook. Oh, we're on Wattpad.
Yeah, go see us on Wattpad.
What is that?
Wattpad. Oh, it's just posting the story itself.
Yeah, how do they get to us there?
Look up Pending Peril, a Poltergeist, and a Pocket Watch.
Sounds good.
That's the name of the story at this point.
Yeah. Comment, like. You can find us on iTunes. You can find us on Google Play Music. And hopefully a few new places soon. We're going to be working on getting us on YouTube, maybe Pandora, Stitcher. We're going to be working on getting
And-
all kinds of places to join us.
Like many of the movies we complained about, it's only as good as the direction, so comments do help.
Yeah, you guys can help us guide the story. Tell us what you do and do not like. All of your comments are much appreciated.
Okay.
We will smell you next week.